Lanka's deposed former president Gotabaya Rajapaksa has returned to the country, and he returned on Friday, which is 7 weeks after he fled amid the island's worst ever economic crisis. Rajapaksa was festooned with flowers by a welcoming party of ministers and politicians as he disembarked at the main international airport. So that's the latest update coming in on the broadcast from Sri Lanka, wherein we're learning that Gotabaya Rajapaksa has returned to Sri Lanka 51 days after he fled the country amid the ongoing economic crisis which the country was reeling under. And now, upon his arrival, he was festooned with flowers by a welcoming party of ministers and politicians as he disembarked at the main international airport. So, as far as Sri Lanka is concerned, it has been fighting the economic crisis since a few months now, and there were these developments which took place wherein the Prime Minister and the President, of course, quit amid the ongoing economic crisis, and Gotabaya Rajapaksa fled the country amid the protests which rocked the entire country just a few months back. And now we're learning that the deposed former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has returned to the country. He returned on Friday, which was 7 weeks after he fled amid the island's worst ever economic crisis. And upon his arrival, he was festooned with flowers by a welcoming party of ministers and politicians as he disembarked on this particular journey. So he, of course, fled amid the unrest, and now he has returned. And Rajapaksa fled Sri Lanka, remember, under military escort in mid-July after unarmed crowds stormed his official residence following months of angry demonstrations, blaming him for the nation's unprecedented economic crisis. And thereafter, he sent his resignation from Singapore before flying on to Thailand, from where he had petitioned his successor, Ranil Wickremesinghe, to facilitate his return. Let me go across to my colleague Srinjoy over the phone line for more updates on this. Srinjoy, we're learning that Gotabaya Rajapaksa has now returned to Sri Lanka.
Yes, he's returned to Sri Lanka, and we'll have to see what kind of reaction there is. The people really disliked him when he left because he was held responsible, rightly or wrongly, for a lot of decisions that may have been well-intentioned, but they were disastrous. Sri Lanka, as you know, has gone to the IMF and has received money. So as a result, with funds coming in, the economic situation would be a lot better, and perhaps the people of Sri Lanka would be more forgiving because there is no food, there are no...
All right. Yes, and this is, of course, one of the perhaps the reaction which came in upon his arrival. How he was greeted at the airport is somewhat shocking, but also, Srinjoy, as far as the situation in Sri Lanka is concerned, if you can also take us through the current developments thereon.